Welcome to the world beyond belief. Our held beliefs are the only things that limit what's possible. Conversely, beliefs are the very things which allow us to expand our possibilities. It's the premise of these podcasts that by examining our beliefs and seeing them for what they are, they're simply beliefs, it's possible for us to change our lives for the better. So the purpose of the world beyond belief is to examine beliefs, not to prove them right or wrong, but to look at their effects on your individual life and also on our collective consciousness. Hello, my name is Paul Marco, and I'll be your host for this evening's podcast. Hopefully it'll be entertaining and enlightening, and thank you very much for tuning in. Accompanying me tonight is my color commentator, producer, and general all-around cohort, Mindy Erkin.
Hello.
As you likely know, if you're a regular listener of this podcast, we advocate a number of things regarding beliefs. More process of belief rather than what to believe. And one of the things that we advocate, of course, is knowing what your beliefs are and then examining your beliefs to make sure that they have some shred of truth to them. Try to get to the truth rather than defending your ego's fortress. So that's one of the things we advocate. The second thing is we advocate holding your beliefs lightly. And I call this process TUPOC, T-U-P-O-C. It's discussed deeply in my new book, Belief Magic. But here's what it stands for: temporarily useful perceptions open to change. And I've kind of come to the conclusion that if you use TUPOCs rather than beliefs, you'll be a lot better off, because the world is so fastly changing and so many new things are popping up, so many new realizations have to be taken in, that strongly held beliefs are kind of have to be a thing of the past. They'll just get you in trouble.
Yeah.
As you get further along into the process of examining your beliefs and being open to other beliefs, you go through a process that's almost like awakening. And you see the world in a little bit different way because you've been examining things rather than taking what's been given to you offhand. And it's not so long after you start examining yourself and get into this more awakened state that emerging from the background desktop are two dominant personalities. One of the personalities I'm going to call psychopaths, and the other personality I call the Ignoranus. Now, I got most of my information regarding the psychopaths from Thomas Sheridan's website. He's been looking at this phenomenon for many years. He's at
ThomasSheridanArts.com. I believe it's .com.
Yeah, I believe it's .com too. And you can get a lot of information about psychopaths and how to recognize them, how to get away from them, I guess. Well, anyway, psychopaths is a type of personality that'll do anything to succeed. And I don't mean will do anything to succeed. I mean will do any frickin' thing they need to do to succeed.
Right, they have no compassion, no empathy.
No remorse. They do things like they might perform a satanic ritual during an award show, or start countless wars, killing millions of people. Because psychopaths only think of themselves and what they can get and the power that they can get from this. They don't think about the people that they're hurting, the people they're killing, the consequences for the lives of those left behind, the consequences of what they might be doing to the environment. They just are free from all those worries.
Right, you almost wonder if they're actually human.
Right, that's really interesting because there's been a lot of information surfacing on the web regarding the phenomenon of the psychopath and the phenomenon of the narcissist.
Narcissist.
And sometimes when you're reading the material or looking at the videos, they really don't refer to them as like human.
Right.
They're almost, missing so much wiring, so much human wiring that, you can't even be considered human.
Right.
Now, I know that there are a lot of psychopaths in high positions in corporate jobs and also in government jobs. They seem to be attracted to the power that they can get from these positions. And of course, I think there's something about these positions that might even work to enhance the psychopathic tendencies that they enter with. So you get the perfect storm up there of psychopaths being incredibly powerful and acting irrationally from the standpoint of a normal human being. For example, I can't even imagine anybody that I know, because I don't know any psychopaths personally, that would definitely, start a war. I don't even know anybody that I think that would kill someone. The normal human wiring is so different from the psychopath that I think it's a real stretch to try to imagine it. Psychopath wouldn't think anything of staging a false flag to involve entire countries in wars that'll slaughter millions of people. The Gulf of Tonkin incident, that's the classic false flag. That's where nothing actually happened except on paper. And then suddenly we're in the Vietnam War and spraying Agent Orange on ourselves and other people, ruining families and village life. And who would do that? Well, a normal human being wouldn't even think of doing it. Strictly the area of the psychopath. You've got a war that was just staged in Libya. Now, who would instigate a war anywhere? Only a psychopath. You've got Guantanamo Bay operating full scale. These people they'll commit suicide to get out of there. But still, it's open. It could be only kept open by a psychopath. So, if you see someone who's acting way beyond the boundary of normal, loving, compassionate kindness that we're all endowed with, you can pretty much tell, you're looking at a psychopath. Now, these psychopaths also exist in personal life. And there's a lot been written on this psychopaths and the narcissist, like how they are in relationships, how they are in business. And if you can imagine someone who has absolutely no empathy for you as a partner and would manipulate you any way they could to get what they wanted, that's what you're dealing with, the psychopathic personality. Actually, they do a really strange thing that's pretty common in psychopaths called gaslighting, where they take someone that's close to them and they do what they can to make them think that they're mad.
Right.
Yeah, for example, let's say I'm a psychopath and Mindy here is looking at a great painting, and the painting, the dominant color is red. And she says to me, "Wow, I love that red painting over there." And I say, "Well, Mindy, the painting isn't red, it's blue." And then someone else might come up and agree with the psychopath, just to get her off her game. And after a while it can lead to, well, I think your perceptions are really off. Maybe you need to start seeing a psychologist to try to get yourself back on track.
Oh yeah, it's so creepy. It's so underhanded.
Right. There's an old 1940s movie, I think, called Gaslighting, which is where the term came from.
Yeah, James Corbett just did a nice podcast on featuring gaslighting. If you want to get more information on that, that was a good one worth listening to.
Yeah. But that's what you have when you have psychopaths. And I guess in your personal life, the only advice I've ever heard about dealing with a psychopath is to run. Don't walk away from that relationship and stay away from it. There's no other way you can deal with these individuals. They're really not wired like a human.
Yeah.
So it's like dealing with something outside of your species.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in your personal life, you get away from them. But in public life, we have these psychopaths peppered throughout all governments and high-level corporations.
They're running the world.
Yeah, they're ruling the world. And the only answers I can think of, I mean, anybody's guess is as good as mine. The only thing I could think of to do would be to try to minimize their power. You know, they find great power in governments. I don't see any necessity for governments, so maybe that would eliminate a source of psychopathic power. I don't know. Also, the corporations create these big megalithic earth-eating giants that can be a source of power for a psychopath too. So the only thing I can think of is to try to minimize the influences of both of those, to try to keep the psychopaths out of power. But I really hadn't intended this podcast to be about the psychopaths. I think the psychopaths deserve a podcast of their own. The topic of tonight's discussion is a category of people that I call ignoranuses. It's a combination of ignorant and anus. Now, these people largely have unexamined beliefs. They walk around and they spout the commonly held notions. You can tell that if you want to discuss a topic that's outside of their narrow band of consensual reality, that they'll defend these beliefs, even though they're largely unexamined. But what makes them really stand out is that they're really arrogant and assholes about their unexamined beliefs, and they'll belittle you. They'll of course they'll argue with you.
Discount what you say.
A couple days ago, I was watching a David Icke tape. I think it was one of his episodes of the Dot Connector that he has on the People's Voice TV. By the way, if you don't know about the People's Voice, you should go to David Icke's website and check it out.
DavidIcke.com.
It's a great source for information and outlet for your information. It's a powerful tool that's emerging to kind of dispute the mainstream media. It's an alternative media that really is open to people. Well, anyway, it's off the point. But David Icke was talking about how to argue with an idiot. Actually, he was talking about how to win an argument with an idiot.